Alright guys, I'm AlphaVerg, this is UC Davis StarCraft, and I'm bringing you Game 4 for today. I might actually just cast all 5 games that I plan to, though, yeah, there's only 2 more games left in my repertoire. This is a lower level match. It's going to be Largepelican as the Zerg representing UC Davis. I always forget who this guy is in real life, but he's definitely a UC Davis player. I've casted some of his games before. Like him a lot. Against Dstroi. It looks very strange, but it's actually Dstroi. And he's going to be the evil blue Protoss on the far side of Shakuris Plateau. This should be a very safe game. The biggest problem in this kind of a matchup is it's very easy to get 2 base, which Protoss love in ZVP. But the Zerg getting the 3rd base is actually very difficult because you have a huge distance between your natural and your 3rd base over here. And I guess you're technically able to expand to this position, but that just puts you so much closer to any incoming forces. And in 2 base Protoss, there definitely will be incoming forces. So pretty scary, but by no means imbalanced. You just have to be aware of your weaknesses, and you'll be fine against it. It looks like Largepelican throwing down a 11 pool. Interesting. It's going to mean he's going to be able to get earlier queens, which means he'll be able to either spread creep or get a lot of larvae, as opposed to getting an early hatchery and getting the larva a little bit later. But I kind of like it, and you're also able to defend. You're able to not worry about being pylon blocked because you have lings to take it out, and you don't really have to worry too much about early attacks because you have the ability to put down spine crawlers if you scout any sort of crazy play. It looks like he hasn't scouted with the probe or with his drone yet, but it's going to be fine. Dstroi moving out here. Going to try to block any sort of base, but it's going to be fine. Here come the first lings, which will totally kill that probe, and Largepelican will be able to expand very safely. And here is the queen, pretty darn safe. Looks like Dstroi on his part is just going to do a nice 1 base opening, getting out probably about 3 gate expand. Is pretty standard, pretty safe. That's what I'd like to see. So we'll see what actually happens. Oh, and see, look at that. It doesn't even get a pylon block. Lings totally shut that down. Poor Dstroi. Sometimes you can get away with that if you're very good at macro, if you're the Protoss player, running around the lings and putting down a pylon, but I don't think this is a very high-level play. It's somewhere around gold or platinum, and it's going to be pretty safe. You can see warp gate technology is being chrono boosted out. It looks like this probe may try to set up a proxy pylon, so that'll be interesting. I don't really like that decision in the fact that there's lings already out on the map. They'll be able to kill the proxy pylon. They're totally chasing this probe, and he'll have to run away. It looks like a zealot is coming to the rescue saying, "Hey, ling buddy, I'm here to help." But this ling is actually getting up into the main and will scout everything. He sees the 2 gates, which almost immediately sets off. It's not a 4 gate. It's going to be a 3 gate. You can see the assimilator. There's not going to be a second one, so there isn't going to be too much crazy tech in the early game. It's probably definitely going to be a 3 gate expand. In the meantime, Largepelican's hatchery has almost completed. You can see he's getting his first gas. He's getting a second queen with a very good timing. It'll be able to arrive and inject as soon as it gets there. And Largepelican is getting a very fast roach warren, which I kind of like. You're going to be able to defend against what looks like some 3 gate pressure. You can see here is the pylon, but it's going to be totally scouted. And if Largepelican gets all his lings, the timing of a 4 gate is about like right now, about 5:30, 6 minutes. You can see the gateways are completing right now. So here comes that first round, and if it was a 4 gate, there'd be 4. But what does Largepelican have to defend? He has 2 spine crawlers, which should more or less be completed. These lings can stall for a bit. Once that spine crawler finishes, yep, it'll be fine, and it'll start doing a large amount of damage. These lings don't have speed, which is good because if they had speed, there'd be less in number because of the gas investment. And these are going to be pretty safely shut down. It's going to be a lot of Zealots, and what this is trying to do right now, what Dstroi is doing, is he's making the Zerg player spend his larva on lings as opposed to drones. But we can see that Largepelican kind of sensed that, and he said, no, I'm going to build drones anyway, man. So, this is going to be pretty safe. It looks like Dstroi is just going to get a 3-gate robo, and there was a ling there hiding behind that stalker. But Dstroi is going to want to take his natural pretty much. He's not going to, with this going down, he's not going to really be able to put on any sort of pressure as long as Largepelican maintains map control. You can see Largepelican is getting his hatchery, or his lair, and he's going to start droning up at this base. You can transfer drones if you want to. This is getting a little saturated, but it's going to be totally fine. He can start getting ling speed if he wants, and he has this roach warren completed. He'll be able to get a lot of roaches. He already has 2 on the field, and these 3 spine crawlers are going to provide so much defense. And it looks like Dstroi is now trying to get... What advantage did he get from doing 3-gate versus 4-gate? So with 4-gate, you pretty much all in, because with 1 base economy, you have the perfect amount of income to constantly be producing off of 4 gates total. The same can kind of be said for 3-gate robo, but the purpose of a 4-gate is not to spend all your money, instead to get the Zerg player to spend more money with your pressure, and a lot of that larva. You can see that the Zerg player has not run away with larva. He's only now getting these double queen, 2 hatchery drone numbers 9 minutes into the game. Whereas if you didn't put that pressure, there would be a ton more drones right now, because Largepelican would not have had to spend all of that ling larva. And that is why that is. You can see Dstroi is now getting his natural. It's a little late. The photon cannon maybe not too necessary because there is an expansion. So Largepelican's going to get a 3 base economy, pretty standard. He has his lair completed. We can see he's starting to get that tech associated with lair. He's starting to prepare against some of the later tech for the Protoss. Spore Crawler in a good position here to prevent against any Dark Templar. In addition, you can move it in case there's Void Rays, that kind of stuff. Never be afraid to move your Spore Crawlers. I've seen so many players lose because they just are afraid to lift off their Spore Crawlers. 6-second burrow timing is actually like nothing, and awesome killing that Observer. And here comes some pressure from Largepelican. These roaches are going to be able to do a decent amount of damage, but very good force field response reaction. And these roaches aren't going to get anywhere close up to this wall. All this was doing is testing it, because if Dstroi had not prepared against an early push and instead had this nexus completed with a bunch of probes, you might actually be able to kill him right there. But Dstroi is playing very safe. He has a nice big army. He's getting his +1 attack upgrades. In the meantime, we finally see, let's see if I can find it. It's so small, but it's a giant spire. It's going to shoot up out of the ground like a giant middle finger to all units that can't shoot up. That's what a spire is. And Largepelican's going to have a nice 3 base economy to support it. 6 gas is really what you want when you're going to get a lot of mutas on the field, and that's exactly what Largepelican should be focusing on right now. He's even getting burrow, he's getting missile attacks, and building a lot of drones. You can see this drone number is actually going to be way ahead. He'll be at 62 to 35 once these drones complete. And Dstroi is still trying to get 4 gas, while Largepelican can soon be getting 6. And not too much else going on. It looks like this Observer, still Observer's trying to get over here. It looks like Dstroi is finally... Nope, he saw this a while ago. So it's going to be nothing too crazy. He's just getting out Blink. Very smart against Roach kind of armies, against mutas. Blink is very useful in ZVP, especially with these attack upgrades. Stalkers can do a ton of damage, as they do bonus against armored, and they of course can shoot up. But here comes that initial round. It looks like Largepelican is now finally getting this gas. But 9 Mutalisks are on the way. They're gonna have no upgrades. You sometimes see the +1 flyer attacks time to complete with these Mutalisks. But the 9 mutas are going to basically keep poor Dstroi in his base for a very long time. And Largepelican, now with those Mutalisks, is going to get his 4th base up. And he'll be totally fine once he gets on 4 bases. He can balance his economy, and he can start really getting a scary army. You can already see his supply is starting to get high, and about this time, Zerg actually go nuts on supply. It's like you hit 130, and all of a sudden you're at 190, as long as you keep building Overlords. But you can see his economy is kind of getting out of control. Mutalisks running in here and killing off a lot of probes. Stalkers trying to blink and get up here, but oh my gosh, so many probes are going down. Finally, the Stalkers have arrived and running out of the Mutalisks, but look at that, 15 workers killed that fast. And if you look at the supply, 40 supply ahead. Largepelican doing oh so well, getting a lot of gas, and you can see he's preparing for that that supply overwhelming. Just getting all of his overlords out once. He'll have an infestation pit. There's flyer attacks, level 1, and now Dstroi is going to have to respond to those mutas and be forced to put down so many minerals to defend his base, and Largepelican can just never attack. And all of this is, he killed 15 probes, and he forced 3 photon cannons. But he could just never attack, and that's 450 minerals he never used. Look, 6 photon cannons! That's what the power of Mutalisks does. He can never attack the base, and that's 6 times 150 minerals of damage that he did in addition to killing all those all those probes. And then of course he can attack the base sometime, and maybe do some more, but it's like guaranteed damage whenever the Protoss sees mutas. Look at this, picking off a probe. Pretty good stuff. I really like this positioning. Look at this spine crawler wall. This is just great because this is exactly the avenue that the Protoss is going to try to move in. As long as you can keep control of this middle ground, you scout, he should be spreading his overlords here against any sort of drops or DTs or warp prisms or anything like that. You can actually be very safe on a 4-base economy in this map. Largepelican has gotten past the point where it's scary. But now he has to face a big push here. These are 2-1 units, and Largepelican is immediately building a ton of roaches. He has some upgrades on the way. These spine crawlers are going to be just very good, and the mutas are going to be able to pick off reinforcements and do a ton of damage at home. Look at these photon cannons, man. Will Dstroi react? It looks like he's saying, screw it, I'm going to do some damage. The mutas are way in the natural, and this base is going to try to get in here, but all the same, Largepelican is building a lot of roaches, and as long as he can control this attack and take off, it looks like almost all the zealots are already dead. Spine crawlers starting to poke away at sentries. They kill them so fast. Oh my god, look at how much energy these sentries have when they die. This one is totally full, and it's about to die with all of its energy. The mutas, looks like all the mutas died. There were some photon cannons here doing a ton of damage. But oh my gosh, even having some spine crawlers up here on the main, there's the backup spine crawlers. But it looks like this army is going to successfully, these Immortals have so many kills on them right now, 17 total. And Largepelican's got to have to take out the space. He doesn't want to lose a third. He does not want to lose these drones, or else his advantage will be way behind. Oh, this hatchery does go down. Throw it down almost immediately. It looks like this army will finally be destroyed. There's only Immortals here against Mutalisks and a lot of roaches. Throw down the hatchery right now, Largepelican, because you are ahead, and if you can even move these spine crawlers forward a little bit. But there's pretty much no way for the Dstroi to attack right now, because, oh my gosh. 6 Corruptors, a Greater Spire is almost done. Once those Broodlords are out, this game is going to be over, man. Largepelican even shutting down any sort of expansion here. Has the Overlord, and when the creep finally gets out of there, he'll notice there's a Ling hiding the whole time. Largepelican should stop building units right now because he's almost supply capped, but he'll need some supply to build Broodlords from this Corruptor force. Unfortunately, the Observer's seeing practically everything, but Dstroi just can't build. He even has these roaches here picking off all this stuff. There's a Ling here preventing the forward third, and he's getting lots of Broodlords with +3 missile attacks, these roaches are going to be able to do a ton of damage. I don't think there's any... Yeah, there's only armor for the Zerglings, so the Broodlings are not going to be able to do too much, but they'll just be large numbers. The 5 Broodlords are done. He has 9 Corruptors to back them up. Never mind, there's more Broodlords on the way. Dstroi, I feel bad for you, son. You got 99 problems, and it's supply. That is your problem. That didn't come together as well as I was hoping it would. But the Broodlords are coming out. Oh my god, how many Broodlords is that? 6 on the way, 5, 11 Broodlords total. The Mutalisks are serving as their forward advance guard. Here comes the Broods into the main, and these Stalkers have Blink, but the Broodlings are going to do so much damage to them. It looks like this first Broodlord will take a lot of damage. Actually, this is a lot of Stalkers, but there's Roaches moving into the main as well. Into the natural, I should be saying. All the Stalkers are focusing on these Broodlords, but the Roach numbers are slowly powering down all the units in defense. He's trying to balance his army. There's only a Photon Cannon here. These Roaches are doing tons of damage. Oh my gosh, Broodlord's doing so much. Let's take a look at this huge damage. The Stalkers are slowly dwindling in supply, and the Broodlords have remained basically untouched. And that's the end of the game. Look at this kind of destruction. Look at how one-sided this map looks. Zerg! Protoss. That is it for Largepelican versus Dstroi. Very nice, well played. Very well played for Largepelican's account. I will be back in a few minutes for the last game of the day.